G. Hello, good evening. Let me get myself together. How are y'all? What's up, Facebook fam? What's up, 50 Shades of Glow? How was your weekend? Hope it was well. Did y'all survive the cold? Tell me what is going on, Bossa Boy, Kaden. How are y'all? What's up? What's up? Thank y'all for jumping on. Yes. How was your weekend? Did it snow where y'all are? Bossa Boy, I think you're in the continent. So, Kaden, did it snow in Virginia? What's up, YouTube? How are y'all? I hope everyone's well. Welcome. I have to get like an intro. I'm trying to get all professional. But I have to get an intro, but keep it real simple. Folks that know me. We'll keep it simple, nothing fancy dancy. My name is Gloria. Most folks call me Miss G, Glow, whatsoever, but my name is Gloria. And I am a travel consultant and concierge. I've been in the business for over 10 years on the event side, travel side too. And I worked for a not a travel company, but a company that does travel. Miss Bridget, welcome. And when I asked them if I could be their travel consultant, not travel consultant, but their destination specialist, because of the clientele we had, to give the clientele more information on the continent of Africa, they ignored me. Okay. And then when I circled back around, based on them asking, well, what can we do better for our clients? Miss Courtney, look at my Glow Tribe coming in. My Glow Tribe is coming in. They on the case. That's what I'm talking about. All about the business, the company you keep. Yeah, so when I swung back around and said, hey, I'm not seeing the continent of Africa being represented, and you have safaris, and there's so much with Africa. And there is final response to me. Hey, Glenn, welcome. Their response to me was, that's nice, but no one travels to Africa. I said, okay, corporate America, that's what we're doing. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right. So I said, you know what? It's fine. Because the last I checked, the safari was about $5,000 and up. And gorilla trekking is 10 grand plus. And guess who not running after gorillas? Not us. So I don't know what they talking about that no one wants to travel to Africa. So yeah, so I love travel. I'm an avid traveler. Miss Sally, thank you so much for dropping on. I'm an avid traveler, and ironically, I started about 10 years ago. Spent the first 25 years of my life being the wife, and GPS signal lost. I am sorry that this is going to, I don't know, hold on. I don't know why it's saying GPS signal when I haven't been in a car. 1 second. I don't want to cut y'all off. But if it pops up, I apologize if it says GPS signal. I'm scared if I hit something, I'm going to lose y'all. But hold on. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can get out of this. No, I can't. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. But anyway, so I decided to move forward and focus on travel to the continent. As I was saying, I'm an avid traveler. I started traveling after I finished raising my family, husband, all that stuff, did the darn thing. And then when my 50th birthday came, and 25 years, it was all about my family. And when it was my 50th birthday, no one was like celebrating me. So I said, you know what? I'm so over. I said, I'm going to do it. And that's when that light bulb came on to say, you know what, Gloria, it need to be about you. I said, I've given these folks 25 years. And now it's time for me. Nobody checking me. So that's when the light bulb came on and it started to pivot. And I said at that time, well, I went to Dubai, and I was supposed to go with a girlfriend, but actually she was my former sister-in-law, and my former father-in-law was really ill, and so she couldn't go. So she had to back out. So I ended up going by myself because I'm like, I am so stressed out. I really need to go in a break. So I was going to wait maybe a couple months for her. And I said, no, I need to, I'm going to snap. So I went to Dubai by myself. After 25 years, I hadn't traveled, like really traveled. Um, I may have gone on, like my husband and I, we like went on like a cruise honeymoon type of stuff, but we had kids. I had one child from a first marriage and then a second, then two kids from the next. So it was five of us, so we couldn't go anywhere. So 25 years was the last time I really traveled internationally. I went to like Rio first couple months after I got married, but I hadn't been anywhere. But I needed to travel, and it was time for me. So after I traveled and went to Dubai, it was wonderful. And I said, I owe it to myself that I will be doing a trip on my birthday every year. And I've done it, and then I've added like maybe an extra trip in, an extra trip. And then Africa came on the scene. Just quick story to give you all some background of how I got here. Um, uh, COVID. Everyone was sitting in the house. And there was a whole lot of things going, like COVID 2020 was popping off, like what we see going on. Like it was just so much going on. And I'm sitting watching TV. That's when I was watching TV. I don't watch TV anymore. And seeing, all these black men getting killed, and it was just terrible. And you're sitting in front of your TV because you're not going anywhere. And most things you usually don't shake me. But 2020 and what was going on in 2020 really shook me. So I said, I got to get out of here. I gotta take me and my son at that time, he was like 17. And I said, I got to get my black son out of here. Okay. So, but all the borders were closed. Watching YouTube. And ironically, a documentary came up about the new South Africa. So I said, that's right. South Africa's been quiet. Conveniently, right? The Western media, they're not going to show you what has been going on in Africa since the ANC and Nelson Mandela. They were showing us apartheid and all of that, 30 years ago. And that was only 30 years ago, apartheid. And 30 years ago, a lot of us have kids or grandkids that's 30. And apartheid was like 30 years ago. And now look where South Africa is. So when I was watching the documentary, it was by this young black guy. And it was so interesting that the tables had totally turned. and where Black people were, and the state that Black people were, um, now white people were. And the white people were crying and saying that, they were being displaced. And there was a lot of, what's the name of it? Yeah, there was they were having, when the government takes your land, because their ancestors had stolen and pirated land from the Africans, and the government was taking all of it back. It was what is it? I forgot it. I'm having like a brain short right now, but I light bulb came on then, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to look at Africa. So at first I looked at South Africa. Then I said, well, I really want to be near the water. So um, I said, let me look at Cape Town, Durban. And then one of my friends that actually traveled to Africa for the 4 years of the last Trump administration, I talked to him and said, hey, I'm looking at these places. I really don't know where to go. And at that time, also, um, Akon was, talking about the development of Akon City. So I said, well, let me look at Senegal and Dakar. And I just didn't know what to do. So my friend told me about, I really should look at East Africa. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Burundi is in East Africa. And he was saying, yeah, you should go to Tanzania and Zanzibar. It's off the hook. And me with my American English, right? I was like, what? What's a Tanzania and Zanzibar? I just could not wrap my head around, like, the it sounds regular to me now, but back then it was so foreign to me. And I was like, what? So a couple months later, my niece called me and said she was getting married to this Kenyan guy. So I was like, oh, I got to go to this wedding. And it was in Kenya whatsoever. Who this? Stacy, how are you, baby? Welcome. I said, let me, I want to go to Kenya. So this is giving me the opportunity, because I do tons of research. Any place I travel, if y'all see me travel, before I go to that country, I will watch tons and tons. And this is just a hack that I tell y'all all the time. YouTube is your friend. Hey, YouTube people. YouTube. Anybody on YouTube, give a shout, y'all on YouTube. Put Hey Glow in the chat. Put Glow Tribe in the chat if y'all on YouTube. But YouTube, honey, I would spend hours and hours. I remember I was working, I was selling cars. I think I was at Range Rover with somebody. I was at Range Rover. And when I would come home, I would watch YouTube for hours on the particular place that I was traveling to. So so when I do go to those places, and this is a serious hack for when you do travel anywhere, it doesn't have to just be Africa, anywhere. You can go to Puerto Rico. And to give you the most just exhilarating experience when you go on vacay and make your vacay next level, research that area so you know exactly what to expect, right? You know the culture, you know the layout, you know exactly where to go, and you know the vibe, so you can take full advantage, because you are in a place for a very short time and you want to get the most value. So you don't want to go to a place, because if you go to any Caribbean island, they all look the same after a while. But you want to get yourself immersed as much as you can in the short time you're there. So that's just a little side hack to really take your vacation experience to the next level. Okay. And so that's how I plan every one of my trips personally for me, and then trips for my clients that I serve with Glamp Lux Travels. I make sure that they're not just going to a hotel or whatsoever, that they are immersed in the culture, because that's why you're going to the country, right? You want to see another country. You just don't want to see a beach. Beaches are everywhere. So anyway, what time is it? Okay. So I want to welcome all of y'all. I hope your weekend was fabulous. Okay. And y'all stayed safe and warm and all of that. It was snow here in Atlanta, and I did not go out the house. Okay. You could tell my age. Okay. I was like, I called my jobs and my clients and was like, I won't be going. Atlanta's having a snowstorm, and they already drive recklessly on clear days. So I won't be going anywhere near a road. So I'm just making it clear about that. I will be in the house until the roads are clear. So from Thursday until today, I was inside this house. Okay. I got to be safe. I can't. Atlanta, if anyone, put in the chat, anyone that's from Atlanta that can co sign with me or knows how Atlanta traffic get down. Like, I'm from New York, and we're aggressive drivers, but this drive, and I don't know if it's just how people are as a whole now, but it's on a whole nother level. People, every time I get on like 285, I'm cursing. I'm cursing because someone is driving in the middle lane, gets to the far left lane, and then cuts across. And Atlanta has 6 lanes on each side. Will cut across all lanes at the lane. So tonight we're going to talk about Burundi. Now, put in the chat, put a 1 in the chat, y'all, if anyone's heard about Burundi before tonight. Put a 1 in the chat, please. Please, please, please put a 1 in the chat. Or is anyone from Burundi? Anyone from Burundi? Fix myself. Ciao. Anyone from Burundi? I'm sorry, Facebook people. I'm getting like a shadow. I'm telling you, I'm on 2 platforms and I look totally different. Like, it's light. It's light and everything on YouTube, but on Facebook, I'm seeing like a shadow. So I apologize. But Burundi, let's talk about Burundi. So Burundi is in East Africa, all right? Very small country. And they claim that it is like the poorest or one of the poorest countries in the continent. And I did some deep diving in, like I do with all of the countries before I come to y'all. And from what I see and just my experience going to the continent, and it it could be the poorest in dollars, but what I have experienced, right? And this is to kind of, because what I would like to give y'all, information, of course, is perspective. And if y'all are thinking about traveling to the country, repatriation back to the country, back to the continent, that there's a mindset. And when you get over to the continent, or whatever country you may decide to settle in or visit, it you have to have a mind shift. You have to have, it's a mindset, it's a mind shift. Okay. So when they say, oh, this is the poorest, you're thinking of how they used to present Africa to us when we were little. Like they're poor, and we equate in the United States, we equate poor in a certain way. Like if you're poor in the United States, like you have like zero resources, you're poor and you're struggling and you're hurting and you're sad and all of that. Because it's a dollar figure. Okay. And I in my journey and my growth, just to be a better person or whatsoever, I follow a couple of people. I don't know if you know Myron Golden or Ellie Talks Money. I follow those. They're like my mentors, like low key. And he my Mr. Golden mentioned something that was very interesting. Now, of course, and we should know this because Russell Simmons also said this, that wealth does not equate to rich. Okay. So we think wealth as far as like you're rich, you got money. Wealth is very holistic and very spiritual, right? So when I went over to the continent and I didn't have a car, I walked everywhere. I didn't have a car. I wasn't walking around with a designer bag. I wasn't walking around with whatever, clothes, whatever. Um, I was pretty much flip flops, just regular, and had water, just the basics. And I felt extremely fulfilled. So when I got back to the States,
GPS signal lost.
When I got back to the States, when I stayed there like for 3 months, eventually I got rid of my car. I downsized, pretty much sold everything, because I knew that, okay, I wanted to make a change, right? So they say that Burundi is the poorest country. So I was trying to look and see why they were saying it was the poorest country. And even the people that, that had visited Burundi, lived in Burundi, expats in Burundi, they said the same thing. They said, yeah, when I hear the media talk about Burundi, they say, oh, it's so poor and it's so this and it's so that. So I had apprehensions about visiting the country. But one of my friends told me, oh no, I went over there and it was wonderful, everything like that. You need to come. When you went over there, it's like, whoa, it's not what they say it is. So going back to the poorest country, they are tagging it the poorest country because of dollars. Now, Burundi, even though it's a small country, but it's still a lot of people, but they live rural. That's a big difference. They live 80% of the Burundians live in rural areas that's underdeveloped. Okay. So that I have learned, that doesn't mean that they're poor. Because real talk, they're self-sufficient and live on their own resources. We can't do that. Like with the tragedy that's going on, the nightmare that's going on in California, like people have to go and give aid and this, like we wouldn't know what to do if lights go off for 3 days or 24 or whatever. We're good for about 1 or 2 days. After 3 days, we start to freaking out. Okay. in Burundi, okay, they do have in Bujumbura, okay, that's like the main hub and city and whatever. If you are a expat, where you would probably live, right? But the rest of the place, and I've seen people not living, Nazinga, welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I have seen people living like, I don't want to say in the bush, but on their own resources. Like they're in mud houses that they built themselves, that they maintain themselves. Okay. They have their own food stock, their poultry, they're growing their own food. They go and get the water. Now they have a lake, and it's the second largest lake in the world. Okay. And the second deepest lake in the world. And this lake, it is Lake, what is the lake name? The lake is named Kitakura. No, Kitakura. You know, I'll be messing it. I say this every time. I'll be messing these names up. But the lake, no, the lake is Tanganyika, and it's the second deepest lake. And this lake borders a lot of um, the eastern countries. And the lake also is a resource for fishing, and and it also, even though it's a lake, it's so big and so deep, and the country is landlocked. So you would think it has beautiful beaches in Burundi, beautiful beaches. So you would think, oh, it has beautiful beaches, it's on the coast. No, it's not. It's a landlocked country. But that lake is so deep and so big in borders, you would think that you are sitting like Indian Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, but you're not. So Burundi is a definite, like, best kept secret that, hey, Miss Lottie, it's a best kept secret because no one's checking for it. And since they want to tag it as poorest, but poorest how? It's only poorest money. But when you're able, because first of all, the Africans, other than what we go through here, now Big Mama and them could have left us the house, 100 acres of land, everything like that. Guess what? We don't pay them taxes to the government. Ain't our property. No matter how, quote unquote, poor or non-money resource that the Africans have, they still own the land that they live on. And it's not like 1 acre, it's family property. It's family property. So you can build your house, you can settle, you can do whatsoever. You have your livestock, you have your chickens, you have your goats, you have all of that. You go and grow your own food, or you go and fish. So who's rich at the end of the day if you have nothing? We have to get whatever we can through money, but they may not have a dime, but they're still able. Hi there, Brucette. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Talk About Africa. We welcome you. Um, yeah, but they're able to survive. When we, like, 3 days, it's a wrap for us. We we are stressed out. You know what I'm saying? So um I give Burundi, with what the potential that it has, I actually give this place, because we're talking about also living there, of course, visiting, or wouldn't be on the list for now. The countries that we talk about in this series, you can visit and live. Now, the country is a place. Now, it's a specific type of person that could rock in this country, right? So it does have like a city center. It's about 400,000 people, a little less. 400, sorry, 3 to 400,000 people in Bujamora, okay? And that's where the city center is. And the people that are expats there, to just give you, usually I save that to the end, but just to give you kind of a background, who would be able to live there, make income. You can make income anywhere, but it's just um exciting me of the income that you make, because it's the same thing over and over. And y'all teachers out there, y'all educators out there, it's y'all can continue to thrive in your passion and not be stressed out by bad A kids, terrible parents, and you know, and the politics of the school system. So to thrive, and what I like about this country is, since they say it's the poorest and it's a low GDP, but the GDP is growing. The GDP went up like 3% a few years ago. They are expecting that to double for 2025, for the GDP to grow up to 6% for 2025. So even though Burundi, they want to tag Burundi as who this? Hey Trish, how are you? Since they want to tag Burundi as a poor, the poorest country in the continent, it's only poor by dollars and cents, not by the resources, but that's an opportunity for people from the diaspora to live. We talking about playing chess, no checkers. Live your American dream internationally. So if the GDP is low, that means that the cost of living is going to be low. The wages are going to be low. So you have the people in this circle or thinking about going, and the people that I see in the chat, most of y'all I know, okay? So I know y'all about your business, right? So y'all can present opportunity for yourself. So you can open a business, okay? You can open a business, you can get staff that you're not paying an arm and a leg for. So just to give you like a gauge, if Burundi is the poorest country and the wages are the lowest, in Kenya, like their median pay, not even minimum wage, their median pay is $500 a day. Okay. That's like what the average worker gets. And $500 a day in US money is like 360. $3.60. Not per hour, per day. So if in Kenya, say, just let's round it off for round numbers, you can get someone as a staff for $4 a day. Do you know what you can accomplish? Okay. What you can accomplish. And if you get someone that is educated, and you may pay them double, $8, it's still a day. That's crazy. So you have the opportunity to really position yourself when, in the United States, people don't want you to talk to them unless you talking $20 per hour minimum for someone's time. And these are like teenagers, and they're like, oh no, $15 an hour. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So you have the opportunity to really flourish. And Burundi has been flourishing. Okay. because, like I said, they've been going up, not backwards, not stagnant. Okay. And it is from private investors and the global, let me see. Yeah, the global, it's growing. They're doing a lot of mining. I'm not sure what type of mining, but you know what type of mining it is. And it's in the middle, it's right there in the middle. You know they going like this, and it's a whole bunch of diamonds and gold or whatever. So they're doing mining, and but the income streams of people, the expats there, are people that work in NGOs. Okay, that's non-governmental. So like humanitarian, development type of things, NGOs. If y'all are in NGOs, y'all know. So that is a big thing, right? To grow a country that's supposed to be so, underserved. That's an opportunity for you there, right? Then if you're in government, diplomats, you have that opportunity. Then here we go, education. They looking for teachers for international schools, because guess what? A lot of the people that are there, they have children and they have money. Like the most of the population, again, they don't have money, but they live in the rural areas. But the folks that's in Bujumbura, they may have young children, the diplomats, whatever, the business owners, because there are people that own businesses there, that own buildings. They need educators in their school. It is an English speaking, because the British, who was fighting over this place? The British, Brussels, what is it? Who was fighting? Or a whole bunch of them was up here fighting. It was the French, Brussels. It was three of them countries that was fighting over in 1961. um, Burundi got its independence. But then, everybody wants the power. Everybody wants the power. In 1966, the then president something, they had a coup. So it was drama for a long time, really up until almost now. And it seems like since 2020, um, this new president is um, positioning Burundi to move forward instead of backwards, because they had a president back in 2014 that was a trip and banned like group jogging or any group type of congregation, because he was scared that they were going to, like overthrow the government or plan something or whatever. So Burundi is one of those sleeping again. Um, if you have a vision, a foresight, and a real vision, and you would like to be in an area, because Burundi, outside of, um, you have a mix. You have the rural countryside. It's very mountainous. It's very hilly, but you also have the beaches, and you have the beaches right in the middle of the continent. It's not even on the coast. You have beaches in the middle of the continent. Okay. And it's fresh salt, it's fresh water, the deepest fresh water uh, lake in the world. Okay. You get your fish, you swim, like it's paradise there. Then of course you have your wildlife. They're beautiful landscapes. You look over, you see the mountains, you really commune with nature. So it's a place where, you can go and do your work, but also go out and just look at the mountains and disconnect, and just disconnect from that day that wasn't even stressful. And many people have said the people, because again, you want to be in an environment that will benefit you, because we want to live a better life. That's the whole goal, right? So the people, the Burundian people, very laid back, very chill, no drama, no stress, to where they're almost pegged as the stress-free country. They just chill, everything good. Like they not tripping over anything, because they're wealthy, because they're living simple. They don't have to worry, because the people that live in the rural areas, if we see it, because we're so used to the shiny and everything like that. But again, as all of us know, most of us here in the United States, we just as broke as anybody else. Because guess what? We don't own our house. The bank own it until 30 years later. We don't own our car. The bank own it. So if we stripped everything, stripped just everything down, it would be a small few that 100% net owned what we have. In Africa, it may look different. The visual may be different, but they own their land free and clear. They don't have a car note. They don't have to worry about gas. And the people that do, usually they pay for their car in cash. If you see houses built, it may have taken them 5, 10 years to build a house, but guess what? They don't have a mortgage. 10 years from completion. But yeah, we have a house, but it's 30 years before we pay it off. So it's a different mindset of how we need to approach it. And then when you get over to the continent, you think, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this.
GPS signal lost.
And you won't realize how easy it is to just fall into, doing the Romans as the Roman does, because you won't be like an outlier, because that's just how it is, right? So it's okay. Like when I went to get my hair done, she took me, Patty. I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome back, Miss Q. Hello. I had some people hollering because I did a video. I got my hair braided, and they know I'm American over there, so they, if I ask or need to do something, they're like, "Oh Lord." So my hairdresser was doing my hair, and I was like, "Well, I got to go to the bathroom." And she like panicked. Okay, they panic because they're like, oh my God, because they know what we're used to. So she was like I thought I was going to get uh, a knockoff person in down in Chinatown in New York. She was like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, well, you stay here. Here's a bucket and this, and come follow me. And we went around, walked around the building, and then to this shed, and then she gave me this, and it was a shed. It was a little raggedy shed, and then I went in the shed, and then it was a hole in the shed and a bucket. Child. Now, anybody that know me, they know I am bougie, okay? But guess what? It was just a thing. It was just a thing. Okay, I had to go to the bathroom. It was just a thing. It was just a thing. Later on that day, I went back to my house with my bidet, but my toilet, my bidet. But it wasn't. You're not tripping. And I think that the calmness of that and the simplicity, it changes your life. Who this? Okay, it will change. It will change. It really will change your life. So even with just living in the basics, 3 months later, when I was about to come home, I did not want to come home. I did not want to come back because it's a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary stress. Okay, so let me see how much time I got. 12 minutes. Okay, so like I said, it's a landlocked country. It's in East Africa. I give it 4 handbags because you have so much potential for growth there. It's crazy. It's a small country. The people are very laid back, but you know your girl always likes to turn up. Okay, they have nightlife there. They have nightlife lounges. The people like to have a good time. It's not a place where folks are running around, you know, and half naked or whatever. No, people are walking around looking like us, and in the city and having a good time, just like us, going to dinner, going to the club, whatsoever, partying. But most of the people, it's just a different way of living, and it's not a bad way of living. It's just a different way of living, and they are good. We're like, oh my God, they're so poor. Guess what? They have zero debt. They have zero debt. They chilling on their property. They going to kill their chicken and eat it. They ain't going hungry. The only time is if they have drought or whatever, but the weather there is great all year round. Beach front weather all year round. Perfect weather all year round. You at the beach, and when the fishermen come in from fishing for the day, and you chilling on the beach, and someone comes up to you with a fresh fish or fresh lobster and says, "Would you like to buy this for $3 US?" And they will fillet it and put it in an ice bag for you, and you go home and cook it in the next hour. What? Anyway, just a little sign something from the GED section. What DL Hughley say? So anyway, all right. They have great culture, and their culture stems back to the Aborigines. I know I said that wrong. The Aborigines. See, that's what I get for not getting my bachelor's. My grammar be tore up, but y'all love me anyway. So anyway, yeah, the Aborigines, right? The Aborigines. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, what else? So this is a place that you can go to expat if you're not, bilingual or whatever. They do have French, but they're English speaking also because they were colonized by the British and all that, right? So it was Belgium, not Brussels. It was Belgium. It was Belgium and Britain fighting over the country back in the day. And Germany. All three of them were fighting over the country, but they got their citizenship. I mean, not their citizenship, their independence in 1962. And they do have a Kirundi indigenous language there, right? And since they're in East Africa, Swahili there too. So what I would encourage people, especially people that are traveling to, and I shouldn't even be talking because I should be freaking uh, Swahili, like fluent in Swahili, but I just be BSing. But I have to. I know some Swahili, but not much at all. But a lot of East Africa, Swahili, but they have Kirundi is their language, French and English. This country, other than a lot of other countries in the continent, they're not mostly Islamic. They are Christianity, Roman Catholic, and that's 90% actually of Christianity in Burundi. So to let y'all know, because some people are like, well, I want to go, but it's heavily Islamic and I'm Christian or whatsoever. So just to let y'all know that. What else? This was a kingdom originally. Again, Africa was run by kings and queens. This was a kingdom back in the 16th century. And the Houthis and the Tutsis was over here. Is that crazy? The Houthi and Tutsi tribes were dated back way back then, and they had issues then too. Okay. What else? Let me see. So we talked about the different professions. So educators out there, teachers out there. I think it's been every single country we've talked about, and the professions that's needed are teachers. Okay, teachers. Talks about the GDP and the president. What else? And it was something very interesting. Just a side note that one of my mentors, my YouTube mentors, Myron Golden, was saying. And Myron Golden, he's like a motivational speaker, but he connects his motivational and business. He's very connected to, like, he claims he's a preacher, whatever, but I don't know. But he connects a lot of his business practices to the Bible. And he brought something up that was interesting. I had to go and like fact check it. And he was saying that in Genesis, in the 3rd chapter, and I'm no reading the Bible person. I don't know. That's why I had to go fact check it. And he was saying how gold was mentioned as part of the land, and how it was a good thing, and just the value of gold compared to other minerals, and that gold is like indestructible when brass and copper, even though they're the same color and the same feel, aren't as valuable. Gold is. And as I've mentioned over and over, Africa is made out of gold. And he brought it back to the early times, like Adam and Eve time. Like he turned it back. It was pretty deep. So if anyone, that knows the word and stuff like that can relate and put a 2 in the chat if y'all can co-sign on that. All right, we're going to close this out for the hour of power. Put in the chat, this is the hour of power, honey. The hour of power. Because we learning about some Africa. Now, what's so interesting to me, and I hate to go there, but people that know me know I will go there. All right. So we are learning about this now, but all of the colleges that taught African studies, why didn't people know this? If you just went through every single African country, we could learn so much about African studies in Africa. So what did they teach? I never took up African studies. So folks that took up African studies, what did you teach? If so many of these things are like brand new, right? But anyway, just sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. That was always a question on my head. So the best places to visit, of course, is the city Bujumbura, and then the Rusi River National Park. Talked about that, one of the deepest rivers. Cows are like a sacred animal there, and their cows have like horns. I've never seen like cows with horns, but cows are a very sacred animal there. And what else? It was something. Oh, let's break down the cost of living, honey. The real good stuff. The cost of living. I wrote this down. All right. The cost of living, before we end, we got 3 minutes. The cost of living, check this out. That's why I said this is a hookup. If you have if you have a business, and this country is basically like a open, like a fertile, just clean slate, and the people are good. And but anyway, okay. So the cost of living, total basics is approximately like $530 a month. Who spent that at Costco before the storm? Who spent $500 at Costco and the food probably almost gone? $530 for your living expenses for the month. And this is in Bujumbura. This is not, because again, like I said, people living out in the rural areas, 80% of the residents live in the rural areas, so they're self-sufficient. They grow their own stuff. They're self-sufficient. Talk about the city. $530 a month. Your utility bill is approximately $20 a month for lights, heat, whatever. $20 a month. A one bedroom is about $200 a month. Okay. It's about $200 a month. And if you live outside of the city center, okay, it's about $75 a month for a one bedroom. Yep. To go out to a restaurant to eat, get this, the average cost is about $2. So you have a place where, because guess what? South Africa was just like this. Botswana was just like this. Kenya was just like this. So, and even in those places, you are still in a good position to walk in at not the ground level anymore, because it has been kind of put out there, but like places like Burundi and Burkina Faso, even Botswana, but Botswana is coming around quick. But like this place here, you could develop and just soar so quickly because you have the resources to do it, because it's so cheap to live there. Very cheap to live there. Okay. Anybody have any questions? I forgot to ask anybody had questions before. I want to thank y'all so much for jumping on. Anybody have any questions? YouTube, nobody was in from YouTube today. So tomorrow, I don't have my book in front of me. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all don't have any questions? Hi, Unveiled Believer. You just got on. Oh, you got it. You have. I'm talking to my YouTube people. Thank you so much for coming on. We are tying it up, and they are coming from Namibia. No, what is it? Hi, did you talk about Namibia? No, we're not talking about Namibia yet. We're only at the B's. We talked about Burundi tonight. We're going to talk about Namibia in the next few weeks. So if anyone, please share this also. And when y'all come on, please share, because sharing is caring. And I care about y'all. And I thank y'all for caring about me and what our mission is here in this 2025, to really get opportunity for for us to really flourish and live. So I will check you. Thank you so much for jumping on to Let's Talk About Africa. And tonight was Burundi. And I give it 4 out of 5 handbags because it is an outstanding opportunity, like ultra ground level. Could you imagine how much it would cost for land there if they allowed you to buy land? A lot of African countries don't allow non-indigenous indigenous people to buy land, but you could probably get a house or whatsoever. So it's just great opportunity, outstanding opportunity in Burundi. And then you know me, I am that beach girl. They got a beach, honey. Yes. So they have water, they have mountains, they have wildlife. Okay. The people are chill. The cost of living is dirt cheap because they want to say that it is one of the poorest countries. It's money poor, it's not resource poor. It's a difference. It's a difference. But anyway, I want to thank y'all so much for coming on. Thank you for the hour of power. I want y'all to have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay, on both platforms. I'm not sure. I'll post on who we would be talking about. Burundi. Will we get into the seas? Cape Verde tomorrow? I have to look. It may be Cape Verde if we're finished with the bees. And I'll check y'all later. Who is this? Kalani. Kalani, I'm going to call you like in 2 minutes because I want you to come on and chat. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Thank y'all so much for coming. I'll see y'all tomorrow.